Hello dear students, today we will learn about the digestive system of chicken. So here in this picture you can see the digestive system. Chicken, or we can say birds, they are called as simple stomach animals. Why? Because same as the human, they have simple stomach in their digestive system. In previous course we have learned about the digestive system of cattle buffalo, in which we have learned they have complex stomach. Why they have complex? Because in their stomach there are four different compartments are there: rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. So because of that they are called as complex stomach animal. While in case of bird, same as the human, they have only one compartment in the stomach, so they are called as simple stomach. So the digestive system of the bird, starting from mouth, then esophagus, then crop, then proventriculus, then there will be gizzard, then there will be duodenum, small intestine, ceca, and cloaca. And another important organs that take part in the digestion, they are liver and spleen. So first we will start with the starting point of the digestive system. It is the mouth part. We all know that there is absence of lips and teeth in the birds. So lips and teeth, they are converted into pointed or horny mandible on each jaw. They are from the beak. It means upper beak. We have upper jaw and lower jaw. While in case of birds, they are converted into upper beak and lower beak. The tongue is shaped like barbed head on an arrow with point directed forward. These projections serve the purpose of forcing the grain in esophagus when tongue is moved from front to back. The amount of saliva is less in case of birds. So here you can see in the mouth part, you can see that these are the projection, and because of this projection, the food can easily goes from mouth to the esophagus. So after mouth, there is esophagus. It is also known as the gullet. It is distinguished by its enormous expansibility. Because of the elastic muscles in the esophagus, it can expand. Food passes from mouth through esophagus to crop and then onwards. Then after esophagus, it is crop. The crop is not a separate organ, but it is just an enlargement of esophagus. It is used for storing and softening of the food. Food is gradually sent forward in the tract as per need by the contraction of the muscle. So in the crop, the food will be stored. Then there will be mixing of some enzymes, and then after that the food will pass on to the next organ. It is proventriculus. So here you can see after mouth, the food will goes into the esophagus, and after esophagus, the food will goes into the crop. Now what is this crop? Crop is not a separate organ, but it is just distension of the esophagus. So here the food will be stored, and then it will goes into next part. It is here. This is proventricular, then gizzard, then this is duodenum, which is a part of small intestine, then jejunum, ileum, then colon, ceca, kidneys, and cloaca. Here you can find in between the loop of this duodenum, there is organ, red color organ. It is pancreas. This is the liver. We all know that liver and pancreas as well as spleen, they are very, very important for the digestion of feed. So after crop, the food goes into the proventriculus. So what is this proventriculus? It is 2 or 3 inches beyond the crop. Also, it is part of esophagus itself. 2 to 3 inches beyond the crop, an enlarged muscular portion of esophagus can be seen with 0.5 to 3/4 inch in diameter and 1.25 to 2 inches in length. This is proventriculus, which receives food from the crop. On the inner surface of this proventriculus, there are opening of glands which secretes gastric juice and some acid. These liquids mixes with food and further soften it. The granular stomach does not appreciably retain food for long time. So this is the part proventriculus, in which whenever the feed will come, there will be secretion of gastric juice and acid, and the digestion of the feed will start. Then after proventriculus, it is gizzard. The gizzard is heavily muscle, reddish green color organ just after proventriculus. Some gastric digestion occurs in gizzard, but this organ acts chiefly for crushing and grinding of the feed. So in gizzard, you will see that the bird have instinct to eat some stones. These stones are gathered in gizzard, and because of the muscle and these stones, there will be grinding of the feed. So main work of this gizzard is to grind the feed. It also acts as a filter. It is the largest single organ in the body. It is composed of two pairs of thick, powerful muscle covered internally with thick epithelium. It also acts as a filter. Why? Because after grinding, only the fine material will enter the next organ, it is duodenum, in about 1 minute of ingestion. While the coarse material will retain in the gizzard, it will be crushed, and then after it will goes into duodenum. So here you can see after crop, the material will comes into proventriculus. Here there will be secretion and digestion will start, and after that it will goes into the gizzard. This part in there grinding will be done, and after that the soft particle will comes into the duodenum. So duodenum, it is a forwardmost part of the small intestine. Duodenum, it is a part of small intestine. Small intestine have three portions: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. So duodenum is the first part. Here in the bird, it will be placed as the fold or loop. Here you can see it will be placed as fold or loop. In between this fold, there is organ, red color organ. It is pancreas. So after gizzard, the feed goes into duodenum. Duodenum, it is a part of small intestine which forms a fold immediately after digestive canal leaves the gizzard. It means after the gizzard, there will be a fold. We have already seen the fold. This fold, it is a part of small intestine and it is called as duodenum. In this loop, or we can say fold of duodenum, there is organ called as pancreas. It is present. Now pancreas, why it is important? It is placed between fold of duodenum. It is longer in fowl as compared to other members. It secretes fluid such as pancreatic juice, which contains proteolytic, amylolytic, and lipolytic enzyme. And these enzymes are very, very important for the digestion of protein, fat, and lipid in the feed. So this is the reason why pancreatic juice or pancreas is very, very important, not only in birds but in all animals. Another important organs that are liver and spleen. Liver, it is a large lobe, dark red organ. It is somewhat flat. It is largest gland of the body which secretes the bile. Generally, this liver have two ducts, one in right side and one is on the left side. Two ducts each from one lobe transport bile from liver to the end part of duodenum. One duct from the right side or right lobe is enlarged to form a gallbladder, which store bile temporarily. Both ducts enter the duodenum together. The gallbladder can easily identify by its green color. Bile acid in the digestion of fat, they are very, very important. And another one is spleen. It is round reddish body found near the liver. It is usually 0.25 to 0.5 inch in diameter, and its functional is little unknown. So here you can see this is the liver, and there are two ducts from each lobe. On the right lobe and left lobe of the liver, there will be each duct, and from the right lobe, the duct, it will be extended at the end, and it will form the organ. It is called as gallbladder. Gallbladder have not any important work, but it generally just store the bile or bile acid which is produced by liver for some time, and then it is transported to the end part here in the duodenum. So after duodenum, there will be another compartments of the small intestine. Small intestine is make up digestive tract from gizzard to ceca. As I said, the duodenum also it is a part of small intestine. Small intestine have three parts: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. It is about 2.5 feet long in mature bird. The inner surface is lined with mature villi, which can be seen easily. Beside its digestive function, the small intestine also acts as an organ for absorption of nutrients. So whatever the feed is digested and nutrients which are released from this feed, it will be absorbed in the small intestine, mainly in the jejunum and ileum. Then comes the ceca. At the junction of small and large intestine, we all know that there are two types of intestine. One is small, one is large. So at the junction of the small and large intestine, there are two blind sacs having 5 to 7 inches in length. These open in small intestine is to one end. They act for temporary storage of fecal material, absorption and acid in the aids in digestion of the fiber. So here you can see after duodenum there is jejunum, and this part it is ileum. So this combinedly form the small intestine. Now this is the joining of small and large intestine. So at this joining there are two blind pouches are there. These are called as ceca. So generally this ceca, it will store the fecal material, or we can say undigested food for some time. It will absorb the water and some of the nutrient from the feed, and then the feed will goes into the colon, and then it will be dropped out from the cloaca. So after ceca, it is large. So after ceca, the feed comes in the large intestine. The large intestine lies between junction of ceca, and it is short in length. Extend up to the exterior opening of cloaca. Main function of it is to absorption by small villi, which is present in internal surface of large intestine. In case of mammal, the villis are absent. So there will be not any type of digestion will occur, but only the absorption of mainly water and other elements will occur. And after that, whatever the undigested feed material are there, it will be thrown out of the body from the opening called as cloaca. So cloaca, the fecal material from the rectum and urine from kidneys pass into this organ, and the material are mixed and excreted throughout the vein. So as I said, in case of bird, the cloaca is a single opening for all these three systems: digestive, urinary, as well as reproductive system. So urine from the urinary system and the fecal material from the digestive system, it will comes in the cloaca, it will be mixed, and together it will be void out. In case of male, from the same opening, the cloaca, there will be deposition of semen and also fecal material as well as the urine. So in case of female, same, there will be only one opening, it is cloaca, from where there will be deposition of egg as well as excretion of urine and fecal material there. So now this is the very important, very fine. So now we will see the important video, virtual video, in which you can easily understand the whole digestive system as well as the digestion.
The gastrointestinal tract of an avian is unique in comparison to those of mammals. It contains an intestinal tract that is shorter than that of mammals. The digestive tract begins with the mouth. Chickens don't have teeth or jaw muscles. Instead, they use a lightweight beak to swallow food particles whole. These particles are later broken down by the ventriculus or the gizzard, which is located within the body cavity. The upper beak is covered in hard keratin. Next is the tongue, which is used for collecting, moving, and swallowing food. The tongue, which is covered in lateral barbs, is used to brush food to the back. Salivary glands are less developed in birds, but are present at the roof of the mouth. They secrete mucus, which lubricates the food and allows it to move down the esophagus. Taste buds are located in the upper beak and are also in small numbers on the anterior of the tongue. Chickens have up to 300 taste buds. Behind the tongue is the laryngeal mound that contains a narrow slit that opens into the glottis of the larynx. Its function is to aid in moving food toward the esophagus during swallowing. The esophagus of a chicken is a thin-walled, expansive tube that transports food from the mouth of the pharynx to the stomach. As food is moved towards the back of the tongue, the choana reflexively closes. In the pharyngeal phase, the infundibular mound and glottis close. The tongue is moved backward, and the esophagus is moved forward, decreasing the distance between the oral cavity and the esophagus. The avian esophagus allows birds to swallow their food whole. Its walls are made up of 4 layers: mucosal, submucosal, muscle tunic, and the serosal layer, which contains only smooth muscle cells. In addition, the esophagus is divided into two sections, the cervical near the beak and the thoracic region near the crop. The esophagus is lined with epithelium tissue, which contains mucus glands. These glands are more numerous in the thoracic esophagus while being absent in the cervical region. Food is moved through the esophagus via the excitement of the myenteric plexus nerve rather than the muscles. In the chicken digestive system, the crop is an extension of the esophagus. It's a thin-walled pouch at the base of the thoracic section of the esophagus. The walls and lining of the crop are made up of the same four layers as the esophagus: the mucosal, submucosal, muscle tunic, and the serosal layer. The main function of the crop is to hold food in storage until it can be released to the stomach or the proventriculus. The crop fills only after the proventriculus is full. Food can remain in the crop for up to 12 hours until it is transferred via peristaltic action. No actual digestion takes place in the crop, as there are no digestive chemicals secreted there to begin the process. However, softening and swelling of the feed will occur during the storage time. This can lead to a condition called sour crop, where the contents of the crop ferment and a bacterial yeast infection can occur. After the food leaves the crop via peristaltic action, it moves into the proventriculus. Also known as the true stomach, the proventriculus is where actual digestion begins. The walls of the proventriculus are thick and composed of 5 layers. A muscle layer, itself composed of 3 individual layers, a thick layer of glandular tissue, and the inner mucous membrane layer. The glandular tissue produces secretions which begin the process of digestion. These secretions include hydrochloric acid, which lowers the pH of the digestive system and food mixture, the enzyme pepsin, which helps break down protein, and the hormone gastrin, which stimulates gastric and pancreatic juice production. The acid and digestive enzymes in the proventriculus break down food more significantly than the enzymes secreted by the salivary glands. But at this point, the food has not yet been ground, only softened before it moves to the gizzard. The gizzard, or ventriculus, is the muscular stomach where the grinding of food takes place. After being softened by the proventriculus, food moves into the gizzard. It's a round organ with 2 lobes, one larger than the other. Each surface of the gizzard is covered by a shiny layer of tendinous tissue, which is thicker at the center and thinner out by the edges. Under this outer layer are located very powerful masses of red muscle. The inner surface is lined with a creamy-colored, thick, horny tissue raised in ridges. This surface acts as the bird's teeth and is made up of a strong keratinized material called coilin that is able to withstand the potentially damaging effects of the hydrochloric acid and pepsin coming from the proventriculus and the muscular action of grinding food. As the coilin wears down from the grinding action, glands in the gizzard produce more coilin that passes to the surface where it hardens to replace the worn tissue. Though the gizzard consists of very powerful muscles, it alone can't pulverize everything the typical bird eats. Grit and small rocks are picked up as birds peck and feed. This mineral matter accumulates in the gizzard, and the particles help pulverize the seeds and grain. Once the food is ground, it passes into the small intestine. Feed passes from the gizzard into the small intestine, where digestion and absorption occur. The small intestine of a mature chicken is more than 4.5 feet in length and has 3 distinct areas: the duodenum, or the duodenal loop, where the pancreas lies in the center, the jejunum, and the ileum. Collectively, the jejunum and ileum are called the lower small intestine. As food leaves the gizzard and enters the duodenum, hormones are released which signal the pancreas to release digestive hormones and bicarbonate. This This acts to dilute the hydrochloric acid from the proventriculus. The enzymes trypsin and chymotrypsin digest proteins. Amylase breaks down carbohydrates, and lipase breaks down fat. Insulin and glucagon, hormones that maintain blood glucose, are also produced in the pancreas. All these combine with bile from the gallbladder in the common bile duct to continue the digestive process. The saturated and ground up food mixture known as chyme moves through the jejunum and then through the nearly 4 feet of ileum, where most of the released nutrients are absorbed. Inside the small intestine, villi, flexible finger-like protrusions, line the inner wall, providing needed surface area for adequate absorption of nutrients like glucose, calcium, and vitamin B12, and remaining products of digestion not absorbed elsewhere. The large intestine, at 4 inches in length, is actually shorter than the small intestine. It runs in a nearly straight line below the vertebra and ends at the cloaca. Sometimes this section is referred to as the colon. The last of water reabsorption occurs in this organ, creating and storing undigested waste material that is eventually excreted through the cloaca. The ceca are 2 blind pouches located where the small and large intestines join. Some of the water remaining in the digested material is reabsorbed here. Additionally, any remaining coarse materials are broken down in the ceca through fermentation. During this fermentation process, the bacteria in the ceca produce several fatty acids, as well as the 8 B vitamins, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, pantothenic acid, pyridoxine, biotin, folic acid, and vitamin B12. Because the ceca are located so close to the end of the digestive tract, however, few of those produced nutrients are absorbed and available to the chicken. The large intestine connects to the front part of the cloaca. This organ is a flexible cavity that represents the junction of the digestive and urinary tracts. In hens, the reproductive tract also joins at the cloaca. Here, digestive waste mixes with urinary waste and passes out of the body through the vent. The cloaca in chickens is also flexible enough to accommodate an egg passing through it from the reproductive system.
So thank you, students. You have seen a very good virtual video of digestive system. The link of this particular video is also sent in your group, so you can see from there also. So now we will talk about the urinary system. So urinary system in chicken, whether it is male or female, it includes 2 kidneys, right one and left one, and 2 ureters from each of the kidneys. In the birds, urine is in form of white pasty material. Why? Because in birds, the urine is made up of uric acid. So it is white pasty material. While in case of mammals and human, urine is made up of urea. So it is slightly watery. So the urine in form of white pasty material passes through ureter to the cloaca. So as I said, in birds, there is only one single opening for digestive, urinary as well as reproductive tract. So whatever the urine which is produced inside the kidney from ureter, it will comes to cloaca, and then it will mix with the fecal material from digestive tract and it will be voided out. So here in this particular slide also, this is the picture of male chicken. So here you can find these are the kidneys, this is the ureter, and this is the cloaca. So here you can see the ureter is open in the cloaca. These are the testes. This is vas deferens. So this vas deferens also open in the cloaca, and this is the rectum, or we can say here will be digestive tract. So thank you, students. In this picture also you can clearly see the digestive as well as reproductive system and kidney and urinary system. So if you find any difficulty in this topic, you are very well welcome for any query at any time. So thank you students.